Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days and 5 minutes. Coming up tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. We'll get a break from the gloom and doom on Friday. We'll take a look at the weekend and the long range, severe weather across parts of the South, along with some heavy rains. We'll talk about all of that tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, and that's at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. As of 2:30 this afternoon, we've got flood watches up from central Texas east into Mississippi. Might get those expanded a little bit. We also have a working severe thunderstorm watch up in central Texas. This is where our risk area is today. Much of the rest of the country is actually on the quiet side, at least from the standpoint of anything needing watches and warnings. It's okay. We do have some problems here in the Northeast. This lingering low offshore just will not get out of the way. You can see the rotation of clouds back westward through New England into New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania. You have to go about halfway across the state of Pennsylvania before you find some sunshine. But from there on southward down into Florida, the weather is terrific today. Some patchy clouds in parts of the Appalachians. And then you can see the lightning strikes breaking out across central Texas with showers and thunderstorms. Also, a few thunderstorms down in South Florida and offshore. And the weather in the west, for the most part, is on the quiet side. Checking out that radar, still a little bit of leftover rain in southeastern New England, back into Connecticut, Massachusetts, and the Hudson Valley. At the moment, we don't see anything over Long Island and New Jersey other than a lot of cloud cover. Many areas from central and eastern Long Island and central and eastern Connecticut eastward picked up 2 to 3 inches of rain or more from this particular weather system, and there was far less rainfall as you went to the west. And meanwhile, as of 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, you can see the radars getting very busy across Texas with some severe thunderstorm and flash flood warnings going up, as well as in southern New Mexico. And we suspect that we'll probably see more of this as the afternoon and evening go on. The Storm Prediction Center has a marginal to enhanced risk from southeast New Mexico to southern Mississippi and Alabama. The enhanced risk covering much of central and southeast Texas into southwest Louisiana, and that comes with a 2 to 5% tornado risk. We also have a 2% tornado risk in southeast Missouri, northeastern Arkansas, northwestern Tennessee, and westernmost Kentucky. Now, as far as other risk areas today, southeast Florida, southern Missouri, northern Arkansas, and southern Illinois, western Kentucky, northwestern Tennessee, as well as southern Wisconsin and northernmost Illinois. Now, for tomorrow, Friday, the risk area continues across the Gulf states from South Texas along the coast through much of southern Louisiana, southern Mississippi, Alabama, kind of nosing into southern Georgia. The marginal risk lies to the north and extends back into Arkansas and southeastern Oklahoma. This also comes with a 2 to 5% tornado risk. And as we move on to day three, which is for Saturday, we have a marginal risk from the Carolinas down to the Florida Panhandle and west into southeast Louisiana. Heavy rains continue on top of all the rains of the last week, several inches or more through Louisiana and southern Mississippi, up to a couple of inches extending into Georgia and South Carolina, also in parts of Virginia, back through Kentucky and Tennessee. However, notice that in the Northeast over the next 7 days, we're talking about rainfall amounts of less than a tenth of an inch from Maine down through New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania. So we actually have a little bit of optimism for the weekend now. And we've got also some heavier precip of inch and a half rains or more in the upper Mississippi Valley in the western Great Lakes, and also some three-quarter inch to an inch and a half liquid amounts up in the Pacific Northwest. So we noticed over the last couple of days that the next system was going to get maybe suppressed to the south, and that trend continues. Meanwhile, we've got this low that is sitting just off the New Jersey coast, finally getting out of the way tonight so that we should have a decent day on Friday. Although we're still going to be dealing with a wind coming in from off the ocean, high pressure up in New Brunswick, northeast winds, but at least we'll dry out, have some sunshine in there, and temperatures will probably be mostly in the 60s. Then, as we move into Saturday, as this low comes out of the southern plains and heads eastward, It's not all that impressive. It's weaker than advertised. And there's a fair chance that we could get away with Saturday not seeing any rain. The northern extent of the rain gets up into Delaware, Maryland, and southernmost Pennsylvania for a brief time. And then the whole system shifts to the south and east. So it may not be picture perfect over the weekend for eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England. We'll probably have some clouds around, but I suspect that we'll also have some breaks of sun, in which case we could see our temperatures perhaps uh, top out in the upper 60s to low 70s for Saturday and Sunday. I think there's a fair chance that we won't see any rain at all. And in fact, we may wind up being dry through the middle part of next week. The next weather front may not arrive until sometime next Wednesday night or Thursday. And there's some debate here as to how strong that front is going to be. So finally catching a break here, which is a good thing. And we'll talk about that potential break and much more tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast at 7:35 p.m. Eastern.